we move to the next essential, which is lawful consideration and lawful object. Till date, we have done many examples of contracts. Some were valid, some were void, some were illegal, some were unenforceable, some were voidable, some were executory, some were expressed, some were implied, some were executed. But in all these contracts, we had a couple of types which the law did not support. They were illegal contracts. A contract which were not legal, and the second were void contracts. Now, ideally, we've done this that all the illegal contracts are void. If a contract is illegal, it becomes void and law does not support it. So, in effect, there is one type of contract which the law does not support. It will never support. That is an illegal contract. Now, what are illegal contracts? Illegal contracts are contracts which are against the law. Law prescribes some crimes which you are not supposed to do. And if you do those acts, or if you enter into contracts to get those acts done from someone else, you'll still be committing crimes. And such contracts are considered to be illegal. However, we move just a bit away from the type of illegal contracts. Now we try to understand why these contracts are called illegal. What is the defect in them? What is the deficiency in them? The deficiency that we are going to see is in the object or in the consideration. The object is not lawful, or the consideration may not be lawful. Either of the two may not be lawful. Lawful means something which is as per law. So, the object might be unlawful or the consideration might be unlawful. To explain this, I'll give you an example. You have kept a house help. You've kept a maid. And you tell her that you want your clothes to be done by her, you want your utensils to be done by her, you want the house cleaning to be done by her. And she agrees to it. However, you tell her that against all the work that she'll do, you will give her a gun, a pistol. Will the contract be valid? We'll see. I'll give you one more example. You want an X person to be killed. However, you know that it is a crime to kill any person. So what you do is, you do not kill it yourself. You enter into a contract with a person Y to kill X. You contract with him that X needs to be killed and you will give him 1 lakh rupees for this murder. Do you think this contract is valid? We'll see. Now, before getting the answers to the questions or the examples I've asked, let us first understand what is unlawful object, what is unlawful consideration. Once we understand this, you will automatically get the answers. What do you mean by the word object? What is an object? Object is the purpose purpose of the contract, or motive or of the contract. Why are we entering into the contract? What do we want from the contract? What is the purpose? What is the motive? What is the object of the contract? So there can be two things. One, there can be the object, the other would be consideration. Let us first focus on object. You go to a shop to buy a car. The object is buying a car. You go to a shop to buy a watch. You buy a watch. The contract is about buying a watch. So buying a watch is the object of the contract for you. This object needs to be legal or lawful. It needs to be as per law. It should not be unlawful. So something which is lawful will not be unlawful. So the law says the object should not be unlawful. Should not be unlawful means it should not be illegal. Now you also know the things which are illegal. Murdering someone is illegal. Robbing someone is illegal. Putting a fire at someone's house is again illegal. Harming someone's property, destroying it is again illegal. Defaming someone without evidence or proof is again illegal. Raping someone is again illegal. So all these things are illegal. And if you enter into contracts about these things, if you enter into contract about murdering someone, if you enter into contracts to rob someone, if you enter into a contract to fire someone's house, if you enter into a contract to rape someone, all such contracts will be unlawful. And why would they be unlawful? Because the object, the purpose of the contract is illegal. The main motive, the reason why you are entering into the contract is to do an act which is illegal, which is not supported by law. Not only it is not supported, but it is prohibited by law. The law says you are not supposed to do all things, but you still do them. So they become unlawful or illegal. There's a difference between unlawful and illegal, but we'll cover that in our later topic. Unlawful is a wider term, illegal is a narrower term. Illegal strictly means something which is against the law. However, unlawful is a broader concept. It includes various other things also. So, when you enter into the contracts which have a purpose, which have the contract which is illegal, such contracts will never be supported by law. This is pretty much obvious. This is pretty much easy to understand, that law tells you some things to not to do them, and you do them. Will the law support you? It will never support you. So law does not support unlawful contracts wherein the object is illegal, object is unlawful. So where the purpose of the agreement is unlawful, the contract is void. However, if the purpose is lawful, the contract will be valid, because the essential of a valid contract is lawful object, and when the object is lawful, it gets the enforceability of law. The contract becomes valid. However, if the object is unlawful, the contract becomes void. Now, in this case, there are A, B, and C who enter into an agreement for division amongst them of the gains acquired or to be acquired by them by fraud. Now, fraud means cheating. Whatever profits or gains they make, they will share them. But such profits or gains are to be acquired by defrauding someone. Now, this is an act which is unlawful. The purpose of the contract is unlawful. They are entering into a contract to do something which is unlawful. So, such a contract will be void because the purpose is unlawful. Second example is A takes a house from B on rent. If only this much was the contract, A takes from B a house on rent and he pays him rent. Is this contract valid or void? Or a better question would be, is the object of the contract lawful or unlawful? The object is lawful here. A has taken house from B on rent and he is paying him rent. However, if A wants to store illegal arms in the house, now what will the contract be? It will become void or it will remain valid? The object now becomes unlawful, or it continues to remain lawful? The object now becomes unlawful because he wants this house to store illegal arms. Now, you are not allowed to store arms at your house. Arms means guns, pistols. So, you are not allowed to store such arms in your house. If you do not have the license. Illegal means you do not have the license and you are storing them. This becomes illegal. So, illegal means something which is unlawful. So, the object of getting the house on rent becomes unlawful. If A did not want to store illegal arms in his house that he is getting on rent from B, the object would have been lawful, the contract would have been valid. However, he is storing illegal arms. Now, the object for taking the house on rent becomes unlawful. The contract becomes void. So, where the purpose of the contract is unlawful, the contract or the agreement becomes void. Coming to my example wherein I told you that you enter into a contract with Y to murder X, what do you think? Is the object lawful or it is unlawful? The object is unlawful here. So the contract will be void. It's as simple as that. Any contracts wherein the object of entering into the contract, the purpose, the motive of entering into the contract is to do something which the law has prohibited, to do something which is against the law, which is not allowed by law, it becomes unlawful. If the object becomes unlawful, the contract becomes void.